All right, so part one, how a repel is organized. All right, guys, so as you can see, I am back in the very first repel that I had made in episode 1.2. And for this part, I'm just going to explain how a repel is organized. So I'm going to talk about all of the 4 parts that are going to be very important to us as we continue forward. The first part is the one right here. The second one is this area here. Third is this black area, and fourth is this button right here. So let's start with the easiest area. So the easiest area is going to be this area right here. This area right here is where we are going to write all of our code, and we are only going to write our code in this area. The next area we're going to talk about is this black area right here. This black area is only meant for the computer. And the computer within this area is going to display the output of our code. For example, if I were to write some code that said, okay, computer, I want you to print out the words, I love Java. Once I executed this code or had the computer perform this code, over here, the computer would write the words, I love Java. Now, if we actually want to execute our code or have the computer perform our code, the word for this is called run our code. And if we want to run our code or actually, execute it, all we do is click this button, and then our code is going to be run, and then the computer is going to display an output right here. The last section we're going to talk about is this area over here. These buttons right here, you don't have to worry about. They're not important. But what is important is this feature right here called Add File. So on this side of our screen, this is where we can create a bunch of classes. Now remember, from episode 1.1, if you have a bunch of classes and you take all of the code within each of those classes and add them all up, that's equal to one program, right? So what we can do here is that we can actually create as many classes as we want. So for example, I just made a class called cat.java. I'm going to make another one called dog. Oops, spelled that wrong, but let's just pretend it's dog.java. You can make as many classes as you want. All of the code inside of these will total up to the program, which makes up this entire single repel. Now, for the creating classes feature, this is not something that you have to be aware of right now. We will get into creating classes way further down the line. At the moment, we are only going to be focusing on coding within this area right here within our class called main.java. So remember that whenever you make a repel, there's always going to be at least one class in it. And main.java is going to be the default class. So in any repel you make, there's always going to be a class called main.java. We are going to be coding only in the main.java class. Now, if you ever accidentally make a class like this, it's not going to affect your code in any way. But if you don't like it here and you want to delete it, it's the same as deleting a repel. You click the 3 dots and click delete. Yes, delete. The same thing with this. So those are all the features within a repel. Part 2, how an IDE works. Now on to learning how this IDE actually works. So to you guys right now, it may seem like that this IDE runs on magic. We're able to write all of the code that we want right here. We're able to run it, and then hopefully the computer spits out the desired outcome over here. But the thing is, though, is that it's important to know about the stuff that happens behind the scenes, all right? And one of the things that happens behind the scenes is the fact that the IDE is going to compile our code. But what does the word compile mean? And why do we have to compile our code? The reason why we have to compile is because computers are dumb. Yes, you heard me right. Computers are dumb. Now, I'm not saying computers aren't necessary. Computers are very necessary, especially during this day and age. They can act as anything as calculators to us, all the way to being GPS devices, which tell us our exact location of where we are around the globe. The reason why they're dumb is because they need to be told how to do everything. Kind of like when you give a little toddler a task. If you don't tell that toddler exactly how to do the task, it will most likely end up wrong. Let me show you guys an example of how this goes. Let's say we want the computer to print out the statement, hello there, up with hello up top and there on bottom. You have to tell the computer to print out the word hello, then go to the next line, and then print out there. You can't just simply write hello and then enter there. The next problem is with the English language. Most programming languages are typed in English. The one problem with this, though, is that, well, computers don't understand English. The only language that computers understand is something called binary, also known as binary code, which is just the ones and the zeros. So this fact clearly illustrates why we need an IDE like repl.com. So repl is going to take any programming language that we type in, such as Java, and convert it into binary code once we click the button to run our code. All right, so then once we do this, the computer will understand what we're doing. So this process is actually called compiling. Translating any programming language into binary code is called compiling. And this is why we need an IDE, because an IDE allows us to write our code, run our code, and test our code. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is the last video for the introduction tutorial playlist. After this, you guys will continue on to the playlist number 2, which will detail print statements. If you guys have any questions or comments, please post them down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to continue to learn how to code, click subscribe. See you guys next time.